So I've been doing this thing that helps me express my emotions a bit better while also leveling up my creativity in a way that's pretty relaxed. In a way that you don't have to be like, oh, I need to practice drawing all the time. The goal is to make intentionally bad art more often. I do that by drawing these nonsense doodles, and I feel like that leads to me making more interesting art. I have a very complicated relationship with sketchbooks. I never finish them, and I have too many. I'm sure there are a lot of people in a similar boat. I'm not a big fan. Okay, here's the thing. Different sizes of sketchbook have their different qualities, and that's something I'm learning. And maybe I will return to this point, or maybe I'll completely forget to even talk about it again. So, for starters, this one is cool because I can just have it in my pocket. It's easier to carry with me, but I also just don't really like drawing meaningful things in this. I feel like it's too small. So that said, I've been going to Cats hockey games, and so I've been taking this because I'm like, I don't care about this sketchbook. I just want it done. I want to finish it once and for all, and I'm still like only halfway through. And so in going to these games, I started doing this thing where I wanted some of these pages to look a bit more aesthetic. And fuck, sorry, if I have a big problem with that, that's why like this sort of like more premium sketchbook has just like stuff that, you know, will look a bit cooler. This one I'm holding as very personal, where no one is gonna see inside the sketchbook other than maybe select pages, but I'm never gonna do a flip through of this because I have too many personal thoughts in here that I cannot reveal to the world. So that said, it has given me a lot of freedom in terms of just being able to do whatever the fuck I want to do in this sketchbook. These pages that I wanted to be more aesthetic, even though I'm never gonna show this to anyone. What am I thinking? Anyway, artists are weird. I'm weird. I started doing these nothing doodles. They're not representational. I'm not drawing a person. I'm not drawing what I see other than maybe like these napkins and a glass. But otherwise, like this is just nothing. These are just, I'm drawing boxes in different angles. And then some boxes over here. And then I can see the transfer on the other page. So I'll try to write the word fuck over here. What can you see? It's just a lot of nothing and then some rabbit. But overall, it's just getting used to the idea of engaging with the act of drawing and creating a lower barrier of entry. I don't draw a lot in this sketchbook because I have this fucking idea in my head that I'm like, oh, it's gotta be good because at some point I'm gonna wanna do a sketchbook flip through and show people how fucking good I am at art. Don't do that. But now I'm committed. I have a hard time doing like ugly nothing doodles in here. I'm pointing to it, but it's not even on camera. In here, so this sketchbook has given me the freedom to just fuck around. Stuff like this has been really key in terms of developing a new language for mark making. Here's my quesadilla and just some random stuff that maybe looks like a donkey. But I'm not doing anything complex. They're just like shapes and lines. Just engaging and doing this more has accidentally like made me better at art, I think. Here, let's go into this Inktober sketchbook from I was gonna say November, but it's clearly from last October. I have this portrait here. This is, you know, me starting to get used to the idea of inking. It's very safe. There isn't a lot going on here. I'm like trying to be really precise, and you know that works for some people, but to me this is a bit boring. Fast forward to now, after I've been doing some more portrait exploration. Like here's the page I'm looking for. These drawings I feel like are really interesting because I've never, you know, been a particularly strong inker, but this stuff, there's a lot of visual interest, a lot of like line language and stuff that I've learned from just doing these nothing doodles and then trying to implement it into a face. This one's a little tight, like I feel like I'm really, you know, trying to be perfect. Here it gets all loose and stuff, and I feel like this is the direction I want to push things in. I've accidentally discovered a new way of drawing that is not only more enjoyable, but it really allows me to draw with my feelings. And I like painting with my feelings, but I can't always bring a shit ton of paints with me everywhere I go. This whole thing about drawing what you see is all good, but to me it's boring. Like sometimes I just want to zone out and just think or listen to music and just have my hand moving because I'm so ADD. This kind of portrait where I'm not set on how something's gonna look. Every line doesn't have to be perfect. It allows for all this imperfection and just like authenticity and feeling to just poof out of me. and I feel better as a result. I remembered I was gonna talk about how sketchbooks, different sketchbook sizes can be useful for different things. And I think it's really important, especially if you wanna have different kind of moods or different types of experimentation. So this one is a bit more of a, I feel like I'm a teacher reading a storybook. So this one is more about like experimenting with mediums, different materials, and also trying to do stuff that's a bit more finished. So I don't actually tap into this one that much because I rarely feel the need to kind of do stuff that's more finished. And that's a time thing. It's a being old thing. It's a having a full-time job and trying to do some other shit kind of thing. This is the sketchbook that I bring with me to work on my commute. This is like the go-to sketchbook, but it's slowly becoming not that. Like it started with me just drawing stuff that I was like experiencing in my life and then fucking around with some other shit. It slowly morphed into me trying to do what I was doing over in the bigger sketchbook with like experimenting with color and stuff like that. That said, now I'm in a pattern where I have a lot of these cool portrait things that I've done and that I like, and now I don't want to throw off the rhythm by doing something that's not going to be good or fit in. And this is such a silly problem. But if you are in a similar spot where you have a sketchbook and you don't want to add a bad page to it, get a fucking other sketchbook that you don't care about. So this one just happens to be like really small. And you know what? Sometimes the smallness of the page makes it easier to actually fill it up. Something like this. There's a lot of space that you have to actually physically like move through to complete a page. Whereas over here, it could just be like, you know, 5 minutes, and then I'm done. I'm out of there. You can just have it in your pocket. They make like these like mini notebooks that aren't even like this thick. It's maybe these pages. Maybe start out with one of those, or just like a flip pad. Whatever helps you not care about what you're doing, just so you can start like drawing some lines. Because I really don't give a shit about the sketchbook, let's start doodling now. I mean, it's really hard for me to draw like this, but all I'm doing is just moving the pen around and creating like whatever shapes. And then, all right, I've done some squares. Maybe I'll do some circles. maybe this is like a structure, and then there's like a thing over here and it's connected over here and it's all connected. Maybe there's also a floating square over here. Why the fuck not? And so you just keep doing that and just try to build like weird compositions. So maybe it goes all the way over onto this page, you know? And hey, maybe that's a bit too ugly for what I'm thinking. How do I make this better? I'm gonna start drawing some shit around it. There, it's better. It's fucking better. Like shapes in there, we're good. See, you're getting it. Do that shit and then come back to like a proper drawing that you're trying to do, or like something a bit more imaginative, and you'll be surprised, I think, at how much of an improvement you've made unintentionally by doing dumb shit like this. You're welcome.